What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So I want you guys to listen to this interview. It's a little over 5 minutes. 5 minutes and 37 seconds. I think I'm gonna listen to the whole thing. I want y'all to check this out, and I'm gonna break something down for you guys.
When you strip back all this press conference stuff, he's probably a chill guy. But also, I know you don't respect me.
And you see yourself walking back to the ring to get those belts back. What is your mindset going into there? Because believe you me, you've got a lot of people standing behind you that want you to win.
So, as I say, it's not just about me. A lot of my success, I know there's a lot of people that benefit off of the back of it as well. So I think that the longer I can be at the top, the better it is for everyone involved.
And there you have it. Anthony Joshua, October Red Boxing. I'll be there cheering you on 3 times.
Thank you, yeah? I appreciate it.
Can I... October Red Boxing, here with the lovely Anthony Joshua. Thank you. I know today's been mad hectic. Thank you for taking the time to come on the channel for a little while. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being here as well, pushing boxing out to the world. We appreciate you as well.
Right then, let's get down to it. The Jeddah presser, today's presser. Talk to us a little bit about Usyk's energy and what you were getting from him, because I know you're one of these that picks up on that.
You've got 2 elements, I think. I think like he's focused on the job at hand, that's for sure. And I also feel like he's chilled as well, do you know what I'm saying? Like, what you see from all of this environment, he has to put on a tough face, but he's a cool guy, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, he's known as a joker. In the press conference in Tottenham, he came in a Joker outfit. So when you strip back all this press conference stuff, he's probably a chill guy. But also, I know you don't respect me, yeah? And I know he wants to beat me, yeah.
And then what does that fuel inside of you? Because the reason why I say it, you had practically all the belts. They were in your house, in your arms. He came into your home and he took them. How does that make you feel?
2 things. Life can hit you when you least expect it. The second thing is I've got an opportunity to go and get them back. So I've got to make the right changes necessary to do that.
And talk to me about those changes. Physical, mental, whatever it is, what are the changes that you've had to make to secure that you become a 3rd-time world champion?
Prayer. It happens twice. First in your mind, second in reality. So prayer, meditating on what I want to achieve, and just trying hard. I can only give my best.
When you go into the ring, you walk on music, whatever it is, I'd like you to hear you come out to some drill, if I'm honest, because I need you to be on that Aggie. Even I need Public Enemy, I need something. I need you to come out there on Aggie energy, but obviously not fight too much on emotion. When you picture it and you see yourself walking back to the ring to get those belts back, what is your mindset going into there? Because believe you me, you've got a lot of people standing behind you that want you to win.
If I was to say what I feel, I'd give away my tactics.
Okay, let's not do that.
But it's just to be smart. Smarter than last time. That's all.
And are you going to stop him? Because a few of us have got a little talk on that you're just going to go and try and get him out of there. Everyone's talking about round 7, 7, 8. 7's usually your number.
I was going to say 7, 8, 9 are good numbers, to be fair. They're tough rounds. There's a lot of damage that happens and accumulates over that period of time. So yeah, it's a good number.
Lucky number 7. You going back into this, you get the belts back. What does that mean for you? And I'm asking you this because I want to know, and the fans want to know, how much this means to you. You're a millionaire. You've achieved a lot. You started from the bottom, and now we're here. But what does this mean to you personally? What is your purpose?
To compete at the highest level, to constantly stay here, and just to kind of be at the best version I can be. I don't over-analyze or complicate this blessing from God, because everyone's got their own unique blessings. So I don't look at mine as if it's any different. I'm just doing what I do. Like, you're an amazing interviewee. Yeah, I can't do what you do, but when it comes to boxing, you can't do what I do, but we're all blessed in our own way. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm just happy, I'm content. But what does it mean to me? Let me just go out there and do my job and compete at the highest level, and I belong here, that's for sure.
And we talk about staying there. What does staying there mean to you? Final words for the fans.
Staying there means like inspiring people, because I feel when I'm here and I stay here, there's so much I can do for others. So that's what I say, it's not just about me. A lot of my success, I know there's a lot of people that benefit off of the back of it as well. So I think that the longer I can be at the top, the better it is for everyone involved.
And there you have it. Anthony Joshua, October Red Boxing. I'll be there cheering you on 3 times. Hi, and thank you for...
So that was a October Red Boxing interview. Shout out to them. Now, this is the video where people are talking about Anthony Joshua, saying that Oleksandr Usyk doesn't respect him. And basically, in his assessment, he was asked a question, as you guys could hear. He was asked a question about, you know, the vibe he gets from Usyk. What type of feeling does he have about the type of person he is? And he, you know, gave his assessment, and in part of that, he said that he knows he doesn't respect him and he wants to beat him. Me listening to this interview, let me say this. Anthony Joshua it's not just a humble thing with him. AJ's never been a shit talker. He spoke a lot more confident at one point in time about himself. Even when he lost to Andy Ruiz, he sounded more confident. He was saying, I'm going to be 2-time world champion. Like, flat out, you know, he spoke a lot more confident. This is the first time we've ever heard Anthony Joshua speak about an opponent where it's not about, like he said, I'm this, I'm that, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And no, you don't give away your game plan. It's not about talking trash. It's not about trying to beef yourself up, you know, to be more than what you are. But this is definitely the first time we have heard him speak about an opponent without speaking like he sounds confident that he's going to get the job done. And 2, when she asked him about what changes, like what is he going to do different, to not give his game plan away, for one, that's what you don't want to do, and he stated that on a different question. You don't want to say what you're going to do and what you've changed. No, you want to. You'll see come fight night. So when he said prayer, which is something that someone else was talking to me about, and I said, yeah, listening to him say it, responding to the question, I believe, not that he's not praying. You know, you can pray all day. You still have to go in and execute. But I believe part of that response, just listening to what he said, was a way of not speaking about his game plan. I do believe that that Oleksandr Usyk is in his head. Anthony Joshua has media. He has people in the gyms, people that, you know, he comes in contact with that talk to him about Usyk. And if you listen, everybody's talking like it's an uphill battle with ice, with you know, oiled skates on. Like he has to be perfect to beat Usyk. What I say to all these people, and what I would say to AJ is, you know, like he's saying he doesn't overanalyze these things. And here's the reality. He can't overthink Usyk, which is what most of the people around him are doing. I'm not saying the people in his camp, but people you come in contact with, at least people giving their opinions. They're all overthinking Usyk, man. They're making Usyk. Let me explain something to you. Usyk is like Freddy Krueger to Anthony Joshua if he's overthinking him. Okay, Usyk in his head is like Freddy Krueger needs for you to fear him, to believe in him and fear him, for him to be effective. Okay? You bring him into existence with your fears. So he comes to you in your head, in your dreams, right? He comes to you in your... So with Usyk, it's like he's coming to you. He's in your head. Like if you're overthinking any fighter, but with Usyk especially, because when he says Usyk doesn't respect him, it had nothing to do with the press conference in for this second fight. Usyk showed he didn't respect Anthony Joshua just by the way he fought him in his first fight. By deciding I'm going to stand here with one of the hardest punches in the division, and I'm going to just stand in front of him. And for Anthony Joshua, I've already spoke about him and what I feel he needs to do. And there's really not much more to say about Anthony Joshua and his game plan, his strategies. We're going to see what he comes to the table with come fight night. It's just as simple as that. But as far as Usyk is just a man. Usyk, just like any other fighter, he's going to resort to doing what he does when things get tough. The point of people feeling like Anthony Joshua is helpless, like he needs a miracle, or he needs Usyk to be at his worst and him at his best, that's overthinking. And I think that that's completely false. I just feel like with people talking about the war and like this is going to fuel Usyk and he's going to be unstoppable because he's going to think about what's happening to his people. He's going to get enraged. First of all, listen, that can work for him and it can also work against him because he can become overzealous and do things he normally wouldn't do and end up getting out of character and getting clipped because he's getting overzealous to try to get Anthony Joshua out of it, which people probably feel like in his camp that Anthony Joshua is mentally weak. Now that we fought him one time, we see what he had. I think you can get him out of there. Or maybe they say, hey, still be smart. This guy, still he can punch. Or who knows? We don't know. We can think what we want to think. We're piggybacking off of what we see and hear from each fighter and their teams. We don't know what they're going to try to do. One thing I will say, I don't think Usyk is going to be different. I think Usyk is going to be Usyk. When Buster Douglas fought Mike Tyson, people said the only reasons that he beat Mike Tyson was because, one, his mother died. He was mad. Two, because of Robin Givens, which was bullshit. It had nothing to do with Robin Givens. The rumor that we had, what we were told is that Mike Tyson was out with Bobby Brown, hanging out, screwing Japanese women all over Japan. That's Mike Tyson's stupid fault. That has nothing to do with his opponent. And the same way how Buster Douglas lost his mom, he got dropped in that fight. Now, if that punch would have knocked him out, nobody would have been talking about that. They'd have just talked about how Buster put up a great fight, but you knew it was only a matter of time before Mike catches him and, whatever, but Douglas fell, and you can see he thought about this. He wanted to get up and continue, and he got up, and he wound up getting Mike out of there. Now, we've had fighters that have had, Evander Holyfield lost his brother and his mom in between fights, right before a fight. And, you didn't know about it 2 years later. He didn't talk about it. None of that shit means anything. Psychological warfare only works if you're a person that gets caught up into the psychology. So if you're thinking about what this person brings to the table and what they do and what I have to do to the point, you're being affected by everything around you. Your mind is as strong or as weak as you make it. Okay, I'll give you a perfect example. How many times have you been sitting in the house? Okay, you hear the pipes in the wall, different sounds, and it's just a sound. You hear those same exact sounds at nighttime, and it's like, well, what was that? You heard that? Not scared for what? Because you're afraid of the fucking dark. Why? I don't know. Maybe you've been taught that, but it's just something about that where you expect something spooky to happen. You can do this for years out of your life. You've been living in the same house and you hear these same sounds, but for some reason you get scared when you hear that at night all the time. You understand what I mean? Psychologically. Why do you think horror movies are always meant, like most horror movies are like where? Out in the woods, where it looks creepy, right? So your mind adjusts to that because it would look whack to have some Freddy Krueger like figure or some even though they did Jason Goes to Manhattan, but it wasn't the same feel. Overpopulated streets, you're walking around city lights. No, it has to be somewhere out in the woods, some spooky looking place, some remote place where there's not really a lot of civilians around, right? That makes for a better horror movie. So that's what you find to be, horror. You understand what I'm saying? Like that makes the movie that much more enticing. Otherwise, it's like, this is not even scary, right? They should have did it this way, that way. So it's still a movie. You have people that can't watch horror movies at night because psychologically it scares them. Then you realize, man, I've been watching this movie for 10 years, nothing never happened. What's going to happen now? And you have superstitious people. So, as far as the psychological part of this, we saw Usyk. Everybody's talking about how angry and how mad he is. That don't mean shit, man. So fucking what? When Mike Tyson went to prison, I remember people saying, "I hate to be the first person that Mike fight. Boy, when Mike come back, you gonna be mad and all." What? Look, what happened happened. He did his time. So coming into the ring mad about what? Whoever he's fighting, it's his fault that he went to prison. It has nothing to do with anything. People just come up with these stupid narratives, and then everybody starts repeating it. And what becomes the popular thing to say, that's what everybody goes with. So what? He went to prison. He comes out. He's gonna be mad, eh? And he looked very rusty when he came out. Missing shots, throwing a bunch of wild shots, winging shots, flat-footed. Not the same head movement, not the same Mike Tyson that we have grown to know. But before he got locked up, he was already being seen as he was already not the same exact Mike Tyson that we had grown, the prime Mike Tyson that we had gotten to know, even though he was still young. So all of this is just stuff that people put in their heads. So Usyk sitting there screw facing Anthony Joshua, looking psychotic. As far as I'm concerned, all that is just to see if he can, further get into Anthony Joshua's head, mentally break him down, make him feel like he has something to worry about. Like, I beat you last time. This time I'm angry. This is the same Usyk that we just seen in Dubai partying with the people out there, throwing his hands up and dancing with them, right? And yet he's psychotic and in a killer mode and all that, man. Look, like Anthony Joshua said, he has to do all of that, and he's doing that in front of the cameras and telling how he came dressed like the Joker last time. So it's what I'm saying. All that shit don't mean nothing. It only matters if it gets to you. It's like you've been a kid in school, right? And the kid is sitting there sticking his tongue out, putting his middle finger up, and you keep feeding into it, right? The teacher doesn't see that kid, but they see you react to it. So you smart enough and realize if you ignore that person, then what are they doing? They have nobody to talk to. They have nobody to make faces at. But you keep feeding into it. Every time you just have to look. Why? You understand what I'm saying? So you have to smarten up and realize. So we already know the mental toughness, the meanness that Anthony Joshua is going to need to have to go in there. And it's because we know that that's his weakness. That's become his weakness, is his mind. To show you something, okay, how psychology works, and then you look at it, and if you want to look at the term reverse psychology in a way in this way, Anthony Joshua said when they asked him about who they think is the greatest of all time, he says Ali is the man because Ali fought everybody: Frazier, Norton, Foreman, Liston, Patterson, Archie Moore. Like, he fought all those guys, man. Beat all those guys. Fought all of them. But he says Mike Tyson is the man. Like Mike Tyson was just different. Now, he said, when asked who does he think would beat a fight between Ali and Tyson, he said that he think that it'd been a great fight, but he gotta go with Tyson because he just think Ali was a bit too small. Right? Tyson was too strong. He believes in Mike Tyson's ability to beat Ali more than he believes in his ability to beat Usyk. Okay, so you be Mike Tyson and let Usyk be Ali. Not you mimicking Mike Tyson. Okay, just like Usyk doesn't mimic Ali. All four of those guys are completely different from the other. Okay, the only thing Usyk has in common with Ali is that he can fight on the back foot. You know, and he does it most of the time. So you think Tyson was too strong? Now he wasn't as tall as Ali. Ali had a lot more. You know, Ali was much taller, about the same in body weight. You know, and Ali's prime as a heavyweight. You know, he was about 210, between 210 215, like his younger years. So around the same size as Mike physically, just taller. So what I'm saying is, just to understand and adapt to the mindset, I'm a bigger, stronger guy. You think that Tyson was bigger and stronger than Ali. You don't think you're bigger and stronger. You don't realize you're bigger and stronger than Usyk. And that the fact is, if you think that Ali was just a bit too small and that he wouldn't have enough to keep Tyson off of him, you don't look at Usyk and feel the same way about yourself. So psychologically, this is where you see a weakness. And all he needs is to understand these things for himself. So maybe he doesn't see himself as being as good of a fighter as Usyk is, or as Ali was, or as Tyson was. You understand? I remember one time they asked him about him versus Tyson. He said, "Are you crazy? Oh man, Tyson would smash me, man. Oh man, he'd come in and and at first I'm thinking this is before he lost to Andy Ruiz, and I'm thinking maybe he just said that because he felt like, you know, if he said that, people will respect him more because Tyson's a legend, blah blah blah, all that type of stuff. But even in saying that, I felt like, wow. Now let's look at how people look at shit. People get mad at Floyd Mayweather for saying he's the greatest of all time. He's the best. He's TBE. And because he feel like he's better than Ray Robinson and Sugar Ray and all that, what fucking fighter tells himself he's not better than another fighter? What elite level fighter on top of that that's been multi-time champion who says I'm not as good as this person? Tim Bradley talked like he was the shit. Tim Bradley got his ass kicked by Manny Pacquiao 3 times as far as I'm concerned. They gifted him that first fight. Tim Bradley was a decent fighter. There's nothing special about Tim fucking Bradley. But if you listen to Tim talks like he was the shit. Okay? You guys get mad at Floyd for saying that, but then the same way, Floyd's confidence sky high, and that's why he became 50 and fucking 0. Okay? But at the same time, Anthony Joshua shows the opposite. And this is what everybody's harping on, man. His confidence is not there. So how the fuck could Floyd compete and beat anyone thinking, man, I don't know if I'm as good as this guy. You know, I don't know. I'm just going to try my best. That's all I can do. Yeah, that's true. But it's like AJ, even an interviewer is saying, I hope you come out to some drill music or some Public Enemy. Like, everybody gets it. AJ needs to get fired up. I don't believe AJ needs to go in there and start swinging for the fences like a fucking madman, fighting desperately. No. AJ needs to go in there with a game plan and stick to it. AJ needs to go in there and fight this guy, not try to outbox him, but fight him. And if he has to, resort to his boxing tactics, know when to do it, how to do it. It seems like a lot to absorb, just looking at from the last fight to now. But see, training camp is every day. And when you reach a certain level, you need to be able to absorb all of these things. This whole Usyk is unstoppable. He's unbeatable. No, it's bullshit. You have to understand the thing is, when a fighter understands that mentally you're weak, they'll play on that. They constantly try to get in your head. We just seen, for example, when Rolly Romero fought Tank Davis. The entire time, Rolly's manager wouldn't shut the fuck up. His trainer just, oh yeah, he's scared. Yeah, he's talking to Tank Davis. Yeah, you running, you scared, you about to get knocked out. That's when Tank turned to him and said, shut your bitch ass up. He letting him know, ain't nobody scared as shit. You understand what I mean? He's trying to help get into Tank's head. You don't hear Calvin Ford yelling shit at Rolly Romero. He's talking to Tank. Rolly's trainer is talking, saying shit to Tank, trying to help get in his head. Why? Because he feel like he need that. That Rolly needed that. Calvin Ford wasn't doing all of that. Whatever he's yelling out, he's talking to Tank. He's letting Tank know what he see. So psychologically, you know, that's the term you hear in boxing, psychological warfare. It's all shit, man. You know, you got guys walking around, they can punch through boards, they can fucking kick doors down, they can do all that shit. Like Bruce Lee said, boards don't hit back. Simple. It means nothing. I don't give a fuck. I heard something about a guy, when I was about 16 years old, they was talking about how this guy used to be kicking and punching bark off of trees. And first off, I'm not a fucking fool. Now, you got some boots on, some sneakers, and you kick, you might have a little pieces of the bark come off that. But I know that your knuckles is not hard enough to punch no bark off no fucking tree without ripping the skin right off your fucking hands. All of this talk that they was doing was trying to get in people's heads, and it worked for a lot of people. Man, I wouldn't fight that guy. That guy crazy. They never saw him fight a day in their life. But because of stories, they're giving this guy the nod to be some boogeyman. Yo, this motherfucker be knocking bark off tree. Have you ever seen him do it? No, but people say, okay, shut up then. Stop repeating everything someone says. It's all bullshit, man. That's all it is. It's talk, and we can talk about how angry Usyk is. We can talk about how, you know, he's visioning stuff in the war and he's doing all this. As a content creator, a lot of these people may say these things because they think it just makes for good conversation. They're going to get like a lot of likes and thumbs up on their videos. And a lot of them might really believe that shit. But what does it fucking mean? I saw people dying. I saw my people die. I saw this happening. And okay, that's a horrific thing. It's a heartbreaking thing. And it can make you mad, the thought of it. You know, it's like me, the thought of somebody harming anybody that I love, especially my family, my kids. Like, nah, yeah, just the thought of that, I know how I get. But a bullet to the fucking brain does what? You're gone. What's going to happen? I'm going to get mad, pull the fucking bullet out and keep going? No. So, you know, you can let things fuel you. You know, Usyk beat AJ the first time. Did it have anything with what's going on in the Ukraine? No. He's just a better fighter. Better man won. So that doesn't mean shit. He can get as mad as he wants. Again, that anger can make him overzealous. He can go in there and do the wrong shit, and then AJ winds up catching him, bam. Left, right, good night, fight's over. That's all it takes. So this psychological shit, hopefully, you know, Robert Garcia is telling AJ, listen, man, don't get caught up in this psychological bullshit. He's just a man just like you. He's a smaller man. You're bigger. You're stronger. You know, Andy Ruiz has faster hands than Usyk does. Much faster. The difference, there's several differences, but one, Usyk can get in and out and move, and he's smart with his punch selection. Andy Ruiz just lets his hands go, but he's flat foot and doesn't know how to cut off a ring. Okay, and he has slow feet. So Andy needs for you to get, you know, let him inside and cooperate and let his hands go. Usyk, on the other hand, he also doesn't have as much power as Andy Ruiz does. But like I said, he's selective. He times his shots, and you know, he throws his punches. He doesn't go in there and waste a lot of shots. You know, just looking at the fight itself, man, it's that's what I focus on. And again, if you look at AJ, it's like, what's the one weakness in his game? Remember I told you guys, there's times when AJ fights and then he'll throw a nice combo, catch his guy, then he's kind of standing for a while trying to figure out what to do next, like trying to see what his opponent is doing, and he's just ineffective, and he's just letting time tick by and around, where you can have dominance if you're active. And like I said, if you're not ready to punch, don't stand there and just let a guy get his shit off. Only get in punching range when you're ready to punch, you know? And, you know, like, AJ seems like the kind of guy that may be in conversations with Robert Garcia, because Robert Garcia said, you know, we have to work on trying to get his confidence up. Where it's like they'll probably tell him, you know, when he does this, you throw this. And you notice he said, even like with throwing the jab, we had to get him to, like, to trust throwing his jab, because AJ seemed like he's probably like, yeah, but like if I throw the jab, then he's counting with this. But then, okay, you're not going to abandon your jab. That's your main weapon, especially in your situation. So he's probably wondering, but what if I throw this and he throws that type of thing. That's why Robert Garcia was harping on those things. Like and if you remember, even Robert said it doesn't matter. The trainers or, it'll come down to the two fighters. It's only going to be him and Usyk in the ring. We're only going to be there in the corner in between the rounds. So at the end of the day, he didn't mention the confidence factor just to mention it. He knows that's the hole in AJ's game, his mentality. He knows that. And the crazy thing about it is, if you think about him being concussed, sparring with Joey DeWaco, if he understands, yeah, man, I went into the fucking fight concussed. That's what actually happened. But guess what? Even in that, yeah, I was getting dropped with shots that wasn't even that hard. It was just a time. But you know what? I've been hit by guys that hit harder, and I've stood up. I've been down by Klitschko, and I got back up. I dropped him first, then I finished him. After he dropped me, I got up and I finished him. And it just seems like maybe getting concussed in sparring might be what got him feeling the way he does. Because everything was cool in that first fight with Andy Ruiz until he got dropped. He even dropped Andy Ruiz in that fight first, if you remember. And then he got overzealous when Andy got up and wound up getting caught himself. But at the end of the day, when you overthink what you should do, when you have all these different opinions coming at you, different people telling you what you have to do, and they're speaking to you like, yeah, man, you gotta try to do, like, get with your team, block all this other shit out, And like I was saying, the interviewer that was talking to him, they get it, man. Like, AJ, we need you fired up, man. You too damn relaxed, too laid back, too. What I feel like people feel from AJ is that he doesn't have the toughness to turn up and go to war if he has to. That if the fight starts to get to the point where Usyk is landing shots, he's going to retreat, he's going to cover up, and he's going to be punch shy. And I believe that's what people see in AJ. Like, that's the vibe that everybody gets from him, that he's not willing to go in there and go out on his shield. That's exactly what I feel that people are seeing when I look at him and hear him speak. That's one of the things that I think of is that, man, don't listen to these fucking people trying to tell you how you can't win, trying to make it like tell you how it's impossible, how you're not good enough, how Usyk is on a whole other stratosphere and AJ he's not going to learn enough in time with Robert Garcia to beat Usyk. Don't focus on these people. In fact, especially if you're easy to convince in a negative way. All this comes down to you, how you see you. The word self-esteem, what's the first word, okay? What's the first word in that? Self. First part of that word, self. Your self-esteem. Nobody should be able to make you feel different about you. The confidence that you have, that what you're going to need to have, the understanding of why things happen the way they did. Like he said, I got to be smarter than what I was in the first fight, which is true. But again, if Usyk just gets to the point where he feels like, yo, this guy got no heart, and start trying to knock AJ out, does AJ respond and say, yeah, this is what I need you to do? Because honestly, that's what he really wants. A mad, pissed off Usyk that's going to go in there and try to trade with him. That's what he really wants. Whether he realizes that or not. It's the relax, laid back, I'm going to box. That's what he doesn't want. Because that Usyk is going to try to pick with his brain. And Anthony Joshua, you have to have that war mentality right now. You have to have that understanding that I have to fight my fight. And, you know, all this psychological bullshit, that's all it is. I call it bullshit all the time. That shit only works, like I said, if you feed into it. And so, like I said, Freddy Krueger only comes to an existence through your fear of him. So Usyk is playing a Freddy Krueger role. We don't need you to go in there scared of him, fearing what he has, underestimating yourself. Because you will bring him to an existence in a way where you can't handle him. And so, again, the fact that he fought you the way he did in the first fight, yeah, he showed you he don't respect you then. It's not because of the press conference where he was sitting there staring at AJ and Eddie Hearn to tell him 2 times, try to face the camera in front of him, he wouldn't stop staring. That doesn't mean shit. So what? He was staring at you. It's not the first time we've seen that happen. You know, you're 6'6", 250 pounds, fighting a guy. You know, Usyk is not a small guy. He's just much smaller than AJ. So regardless, at the end of the day, you're fighting one of the smallest heavyweights in there. Even him coming up to 231 pounds, it doesn't make a difference. You know, he decides to fight you. Like you and him are equals in size and power and everything. He showed you that he didn't respect you, but he also showed you when you land a good shot, he's going to run. And that's exactly what he did. Pop! Oh, shit, let me get on my bicycle. Oh, he don't know how to fucking figure me out. Okay, this is going to be easy. And what did he say at the end of the fight? I expected more from AJ. So, this psychological shit, man, don't feed into it. Don't let what your game plan is get derailed, because if it's not going as smooth as you and your team are planning things and you get frustrated, no. Like, oh, well, it has to work because this is what we worked on. No, you always have to, look, a great fighter knows how to find his way. He understands what he needs to be doing. He knows why certain things aren't working. It's not just because the trainer's telling him, okay, your job in the corner is not to argue and go back and forth. No. A lot of times, most of the time, the trainer is telling you, you already know. What they're telling you, you see it yourself. Okay? They try to help you keep it together to where what you're doing and how you add these things up, you guys are working cohesively. But you can't get frustrated and fall apart because what you're doing is not happening in an easy way. You know, there's no way for me to hit way harder than you on top of that. And we hit each other. And if I'm worried about how your shots feel, I can only imagine how the fuck you feel when I land one on you. That's the mentality Anthony Joshua used to have. And he even said that. I'm paraphrasing. I'm saying it on my own, but he said the same thing I said just now. The same thing. So, when you let someone get in your head, half of the battle is already won on their behalf because they're in here. Fuck all that rent-free shit, just the fact they're already in here. That's how you kill Freddy Krueger, by having no fucking fear. He's out of here. Right? They're always telling in the movies, you're not real. You're not real. But they try to psych themselves to believe it. And the ones who, fuck him, I'm not afraid of him no more, that's how he always gets beat, right? So in real life, when you're looking at an opponent and you give them too much credit, you give them too much respect. Like, we understand and acknowledge, yeah, that's why we love it. Let's go. Let's go to war. You understand? That's how you defeat that shit. Now, true, he can only do his best. And I respect AJ for saying that because, yeah, he could come out here, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and that's not what it's about. And that's not what I feel like I want to hear from AJ either. The whole point of what I'm saying is it's not just the reality of what he's saying, and that's true, he can only do his best. But I, for one, understand how people feel. Like, he just doesn't sound like he's ready to go to war if he has to. He sounds more like inside, he's ready to wave the white flag if things get too tough. Not that he's going to tell the referee, I quit. But like inside, people just judge that. Like, they have that. That's what the interview was trying to tell him. Like, AJ, we need you fired up, man. You know, what everybody said about Deontay getting knocked out by by Fury in the last fight. It's like, hey man, now I didn't see it like this was some epic. Oh my God, this is what I have never seen a fight this great. No, I seen a lot of bad boxing going on. I seen a lot of lack of defense, sloppy shit going on, and that's why shots was able to be landing like they were. Okay, it was a good fight though. I mean, for what it was. But what did people say about Wilder? A lot of people said, I respect this guy now. I didn't respect all the antics and all the lies and all of the accusations and pointing fingers, but that motherfucker went in there and tried. He went for broke. He just got knocked the fuck out, but he went for it. And he dropped Fury twice in the process. He dropped him twice in the first fight. I don't know why people was overlooking that, But the fact is, Wilder, as far as I'm concerned, he's not nearly as good a fighter as AJ is. But he went in that motherfucker and he did what he know how to do. He came up short. But he went in there and you can at least respect the fact he let it all out. Anthony Joshua is smart. He just doesn't seem to be calculated, where he can put everything together confidently. So if he does win this fight, hopefully his confidence goes up, man, and he can, go in there and fight and become that better version of himself that he's been falling short of in terms of being that polished fighter that gets in a position where whoever he fights, he's expected to be the one to win. That's the one thing, and a lot of it has been hate, but at the same time, because even when he was winning, knocking everybody out and became champion, people just wanted to see him lose, along with all the people that wanted to see him win and that got behind him to, root him on. But this is a part of the game where, to me, I always feel like, man, don't even pay attention to that bullshit. It's the psychological shit. Because people always want to talk and try to down people. Constructive criticism or just calling it like you see it is not hating. You have people that just want to see people lose because they just don't like the person. They don't know you, but they don't like you. So I feel like once, if he understands these things, and Usyk, if I'm Usyk, I don't need to go in there worrying about the Ukraine and everything else. My focus is the fight. So even if he say, "Oh, I did this for my people," and all this after whatever he says after the fight, if he wins, that whatever. But that has nothing to do with any of it. I'm not focusing on the Ukraine, and I'm in there preparing to fight an opponent. I'm focusing on that opponent, and all that stuff happening back there has nothing to do with this fight. Now, if that fuels him and it works for him, so be it. But again, man, none of that shit means nothing. Like I said, he already beat Anthony Joshua, and what that stuff that's going on now had nothing to do with anything back then. So why does he need it now? So all of this storyline build-up shit that people are doing, man, listen, that doesn't mean anything. So I just wanted to get that out there, speak on that. And just like I said, two fighters got to get in the ring and fight. Somebody has to win. Somebody has to lose. And if you go in there worried about what people are saying or what you think, what if it's true, and then you defeat yourself. But if you understand I have a job to do, I have confidence and belief in my ability. I'm coming in here to be a 3-time world champion. I'm not coming in here crossing my fingers hoping I get lucky, hoping some miracle happens. No, it has nothing to do with that. I don't believe no deity. He prayed to me and he prayed to me. I think he needs the blessing more than me. Let me bless him to win. No. You have people don't pray, don't have any faith and belief in no deity and none of that, and they'll go in there and beat your ass. And the one that does believe is going, well, I just thank God that nobody got seriously hurt and whatever, but they just got that ass whooped. So all that means nothing to me. It's how you prepare mentally and physically, and what you're willing to put yourself through to get that win. You don't want to see a fighter come out of a fight punch drunk, messed up for the rest of their life, or none of that shit. But at the end of the day, you're getting paid millions of dollars to go in there and fight. So I'm feeling like if I'm going to go in there and take some bumps and bruises, cool. But I'm going to make sure I do what I got to do to secure that win. So, again, it leads to people wanting to know if AJ has that in him. Don't. Okay? Stop overthinking Oleksandr Usyk. And that's for AJ and for these fucking writers and fans and fanboys and reporters all talking this shit like Usyk is some fucking deity himself. Stop that shit, man. You overthinking this shit, letting this motherfucker get in your head, that's going to be your downfall. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all in the next video.